So I recently did a video where on that video I showed you guys a $20,000 payout I requested from Funding Pips. And that video, there were a lot of questions of other traders saying, oh, how did you do it? Are you sure this is not fake? Are you sure you were not paid by Funding Pips to say this? They have the consistency rule. They have the news trading rule. They have the 3% rule. How can you be able to bypass that? Don't worry, just shut up. On this video, I'm going to show you guys step by step how you can follow the 3 key rules in Funding Pips if you want to get your payout denied. I can't remember the last time my payout was denied by any prop firm, not because I have the biggest YouTube channel in Africa in the niche of Forex and the niche of finance, not also because I have a voice, but because I'm one of the highest traders you know when it comes to following rules. Yes, I'm one of the most disciplined trader you know when it comes to going to a prop firm and following their rules. When I go to a prop firm, I don't care who that prop firm is. I don't care if they've had a history of payout denial. What I ask their rules and which one can be a problem to me. If I see that the consistency rule is going to be a problem to me, I'm either going to abandon that prop firm or look for a way I can circumvent around that rule, or look for a way I can trade within their consistency rule. So there are 3 key rules which you need to be able to follow and know them to your fingertips if you want to find success with prop firms in general, or if you don't want your prop firm to ever be denied. Number 1 rule in our case, or let's just generally, we're going to talk about 3 rules. Number 1, consistency rule, which you guys cry about every day on consistency rule, but I still trade prop firm accounts and I get payout on a daily basis even with consistency rule. If you are not informed, you'll be deformed. That's what is killing you guys. You don't know how to trade even when the consistency rule is there. We'll also talk about the news trading rule, all right? News trading rule, and we'll talk about the 3% rule, particularly which applies to Funding Pips. The general knowledge that I'm going to be giving you guys on this video is going to help you guys for any other prop firm. Let's start with, with the elephant in the room, which is the consistency rule. Is the consistency rule needed by prop firm? The answer is unequivocally yes, because it's not something which is new. Consistency rule will be able to implant, will be able to instill a new discipline, which is what traditional prop firms are looking for. So yes, a consistency rule is not a death sentence. It's something which I will be able to put it on a prop firm. It's something which I want a trader, before I can give my funds to a trader, I want to know if that trader is actually consistent, not just lucky after a series of trade. So let's go to Funding Pips, and I'm going to show you some challenges that have consistency rule and some that don't have, and how you can trade with the consistency rule and still get payout. If you come to Funding Pips, okay, talking about Funding Pips, that's my recommended prop firm right now. They've won the award as the best prop firm for 2025 because they have 0 payout deny. And if you come here and you want to buy a challenge, use the coupon code GODLOVE at checkout and you get a whooping 20% off. Yes, that's huge, 20% off. So if you come here to Funding Pips, you have the Funding Pips account. I trade a 2-step. All right, I trade a 2-step. So one thing you have to know is, if you don't want the consistency at all, look for the challenge that doesn't have the consistency. Their live chat is right there. Their frequently asked questions are right there. You can be able to just look for the challenge that doesn't have the consistency. For example, you have the 2-step right here, which is what I trade. The reason why I trade the 2-step is because it gives me room for error. All right, even though the targets are really bigger, but it gives me room for error. That's why I trade the 2-step. So come here, I go to the 2-step. I select what? I select Funding Pips, not the Funding Pips Pro, because the Funding Pips Pro has consistency. So if you're someone you don't want consistency at all, select Funding Pips, not the Funding Pips Pro, and then you select 8%, select the select method trader fine. Then I check out. This is where you put the coupon code where I told you guys, GODLOVE, click on apply, and 20% is going to be deducted from the total amount you're going to be paying. Now, that's someone who doesn't want a consistency rule at all. But if you are not interested, because this one, since it doesn't have the consistency rule, the targets are a little bit higher. Instead of making 6% in phase 1 and 6% in phase 2, as opposed to the Funding Pips Pro, on just the Funding Pips without a Pro, you need to make 8% in phase 1 and 5% in phase 2. So if you are someone that you don't want to make 8% in phase 1, you just want to make 6%, then you need to take this one, which comes with that cost, which is the consistency rule. And I think the consistency rule here is 40% or 30% or so. But let's just take 30% for example. So if the prop firm is giving you a consistency rule of 40%, it means for the total profit you need to be able to pass that challenge, not a single day should be up to 40% of the total profit. All right, so let me take my calculation. Let's do the math together. It's very, very easy, self-explanatory, and not something you can even worry yourself about. Let's come here. So let's take this one, and assuming they are giving us a 40% consistency rule. On this one, you just need to make, look, weekly, daily. You can even choose weekly or daily payouts, right? But let's just talk about the consistency. Let's say we have a 40% consistency rule, and the profit target on phase 1 is 6%. 6% of 100,000. Let's assume we have a $100,000 account. It's going to be $6,000, right? So you need to know the total amount you need to make to pass that challenge. Now, how is consistency rule calculated? The consistency rule is calculated by dividing your highest day, meaning by the end of the day, the highest profit you make in that day, you divide by the total profit you need to pass that challenge times 100. So let's just say on Monday, I made $2,500, right? Then on Tuesday, I made again 2,000 on Tuesday. That's a total of 4,500. Then on Wednesday, I make 1,500. That's a total of 6,000. I've met the profit target. But will I be able to meet the 40% consistency rule? What you do is you take your highest day, divide by the total profit times 100. So my highest day was what? 2,500. I divide by the total profit which I just made. Now let me put my screen recording so that you guys can see. I want us to be together on this. So what was my highest day? My highest day was 2,500. If I divide that by 6,000, let's see, that is 41 times now 0.41 times 100. You can see that's a consistency rule of 41.6%. So I've already not actually violated the consistency rule. What happens is you just have to keep trading. You just need to make more profit so that you can offset the consistency. So in this case, I won't pass this challenge because I have a consistency of 41% instead of 40%. So what you do now is you need to trade the next day. The next day you can just come down and make maybe $800. If you make $800, now you have say $6,800. If I still multiply my highest day, which was 2,500, divided by 6,800, you can see that's 0.36 times 100, that's 36.7% consistency. Now I've passed. I'm within the 40% maximum consistency rule. It's as easy as that. So long as you get the challenge, if I know that I need to make $6,000 to pass that challenge, and the consistency rule is 40%, number one thing I'll do is what is 40% times $6,000? That's it. $2,400, meaning there will be no day that I'll make more than $2,400. That's the easiest way. There will be no way that any day, any trading day, I'm going to target more than $2,400. If I make $2,400, I stop for that day. I won't even go up to that. I'll just end around $2,200, $2,300, $2,200, $2,300. Because let's just say the highest day you ever had was $2,300. And you traded for say 2 or 3 days on that particular account, and you passed the account, making your total profit of say $6,000, right? If you divide this by $6,000, 2,300 by $6,000, you can see that's 38%. That's 0.38. If I multiply that by 100, that's going to be a 38% consistency. So I'm still within my consistency rule, and I won't violate the account. What makes you guys to breach this consistency rule all the time is because you full potting, you going for the sky, you want to make 10% in one day, you want to make $10,000 in one day, bro. Slowly but surely, you can see. This won't prevent me from getting payout. I just need to understand what is consistency, how it works, and then how to maneuver around that, and I'll still be getting payouts like the one you guys have been seeing on my channel on a daily basis. So this is for Forex, and even if you are trading futures, because I'm moving into futures, I'm also moving into futures as well. I'm not abandoning Forex. I'm too big to abandon Forex, and also too big just to focus on Forex. So I'm also going to be trading futures from now going on, and I'm going to be showing you, documenting everything and showing you guys the video. So even if you are trading in futures, 80% of all futures pro firm have the consistency rule, and it works the same. Taking for funding pips as an example, they have the futures side of their pro firm, which is known as funding ticks. In funding ticks, the consistency rule is 40%. The same, meaning if you just buy a funding pips pro two-step, funding pips pro futures account, the consistency there is 40%, and you do the same thing. Don't make more than 2,000. Let's just say you buy a $100,000 futures account. Don't make more than 2,300 in a day. Don't make more than $2,300 in a day, and you'll be good to go. For 2-3 days, you pass that, you pass it just one step, and you get funded. That is it when you understand the rule and you understand to circumvent around it. So that's how the consistency rule works, and you guys can see how easy it is when you're able to understand how to calculate it, and then at that point in time you'll be able to apply it in your trading, and no problem will be able to come and say, oh, we should deny him because, you know, he's having a 50% consistency rule instead of this. No, they'll just look at, that's why my payout used to be approved in less than 10. The fastest one which broke the record was the one I requested recently with funding pips, and that payout took less than 10 minutes. From the moment I requested to the moment it hit in my wallet took less than 10 minutes, because they go through, they already have a software that shows them what is the consistency score, 30%. So, oh, there's no reason to waste. Is there a new trading violation? No. Is there a 1% rule? They approve your payout and they pay you out. It's as easy as that. Now let's go to the next rule on our list, which is still another reason you wouldn't get a payout, right, if you don't follow it. Let's talk about the 1% or the 3% rule when it comes to prop firm. Let's take funding pips again, for example. They have a rule that says don't risk, they recommend, not that if you risk 2% of your account, you'll be directly just flat, but the moment you go to the masters or the funded account, they recommend that don't risk more than 1% of your account per trade, or don't have up to 3%. Or don't have more than 3% floating loss at a time. What's the meaning of floating loss? Meaning if they check the total floating loss on your account and you have a $100,000 pro forma account, for example, it shouldn't be more than 3%. So what does this apply, and how can you be able to trade with this rule in place? Number one, when you go funded, I will even see someone who is totally crazy to be risking more than 1% per trade. Like I used to always tell you guys, it's not how fast you pass the challenge, it's not how fast you get a payout, or it's not how fast you are able to get to your payout target that will ensure longevity and consistency in a space. There are some of my funded accounts that I'm only risking 0.25% of my account. There are some that I'm only risking 0.5% of my account. But if you want to risk 1%, yes, that should be the maximum I recommend the moment you get funded. And if you're risking 1%, know that you shouldn't for once say, okay, since they say, let me not risk more than 1%, I'm going to open 3 trades instead. I'm going to open 4 trades instead. No, that's going to be all calculated as a trading idea. So if, let's say you are trading something like gold and you open your first trade and you're risking 1%. After about 2 minutes, you open the next one, you're risking again 1%. After about 3 minutes, you open again another one and you are risking about 1%. All of that is summed up as one trade. So in total, you are risking 3% of your account at that point in time, and you might be breaching your account. The risk team might be able to, to penalize you for that. So don't try to go around. Don't try to play games around the rules. The rule is simple. Don't risk more than 1% of your account in a single trade. Meaning, even if you take a buy on go and you see another setup, this is mostly affected, or this will mostly affect scalpers. These people who scalp, they're getting in and out in minutes. So if you're someone who scalp, I would recommend 10 minutes. Even if you see a trade on go and you take that trade, if you see another one and you want to trade and you are risking 1% and it's less than 10 minutes, don't take that trade, because they're all going to be calculated as one trade. Or if you really want to take the trade, to still be able to not violate the rule, reduce your risks. Reduce to 0.5% of your account, and you can even take the first trade risk 0.5%. Maybe after 1 minute, you take another one again. If you see the setup risking 0.1%, 0.5%, at that point in time, you will only be risking 0.5%, or the risk, which is going to be in that particular one asset, is going to be 1% of your account, not more than 1% of your account. Remember, we are saying in one asset, meaning you can open a trade of 1% on say gold, and you open another one of 1% on say Great Britain Pound USD, you open another one of 1% on maybe Euro USD. Remember, at that point in time, you've had 3% of your account which is at risk. You wouldn't be penalized at that point in time because you open 1% of your account on each of these assets. You only be penalized if all those trades go against you. If they all go against you, remember, you're going to be having minus 3% floating, minus 3% of your account floating. At that point in time, it's a permanent rule breach. You're going to lose your account. So number one, if you want to trade multiple pairs, the moment you get funded, reduce your risks. Don't go for even, I would recommend, don't even go for more than 0.5% of your account. The reason why you guys full pot is because you are trading with this tiny $5,000 profit account, tiny $10,000 account. So you feel like you need to risk big to be able to make something reasonable. That's why I always advise, trade with a reasonable account size, like say $50,000 or $100,000. The moment you go funded, I'll advise 0.5% of your account, so that it can enable you to trade multiple assets if you want to trade multiple assets, or it can enable you to enter multiple trades if you want to enter multiple trade on the same asset without breaching the 1% rule or the 3% floating profit rule. So you see, it's very easy. So long as you already understand this, the moment I go funded, I either decide to stick just with one asset and risking 1% per trade for the entire time. That's more like a swing trading style. Risking 1% of my account for the entire time. Or if I want to trade 2 or 3 different assets, I drop down to 0.5%, and then I only risk 0.5% per trade, so that I can open a trade here, open another one here, open another one here. Even if I have 3 trades up and running with 0.5% of my account, I'll only have, a risk of, even if they all have to go against me, I'll only have a floating loss of minus 1.5%. There's no pro firm that's going to penalize me for that. So knowing this rule again, you see, there is no way a pro firm is going to deny your payout, because they can see, oh, this person, it's a software. They already say, oh, he didn't violate, the 1% rule or the 3% rule. Approve his payout, pay, boom, done. Last rule on our list is going to be the news trading rule. So the news trading rule is very, very simple and is self-explanatory. In Funding Pips again, let's take the master account. Any other platform that gives you the news rule is just the same thing. But Funding Pips, let's take the master account. For example, they say, okay, don't trade. News trading is not allowed. It's not allowed in the sense that the moment you get funded, 5 minutes before the news, it states very, very clearly. If you go to the website, it's explained very, very clearly. 5 minutes before the news, don't take a trade. And 5 minutes after the news, don't also. That means 5 minutes before and 5 minutes after the news, you shouldn't take the trade. You must give that window. So let's say, for example, in South Africa, NFP is at 2:30 p.m. So at 2:30 p.m., 2:45 to 2:30, you shouldn't be taking a trade. And from 2:30 to 2:35, you shouldn't be taking any trade within that 10-minute window. Any trade you take within that 10-minute window, most of the time is automatically closed, or even if you make profit from those trades, they are subtracted from your balance. Now, what is the 5 hours rule? It also states that if, let's say during the news, because during the news, the market is going to be very volatile. Let's say during the news, one of your trades which you took about 5 hours ago closed during the news. You're not going to be penalized because that trade was open at least 5 hours before the news. Doesn't make sense. That trade was open at least 5 hours before the news. So that's what the 5% news rule, 5% news trading rule just states. If you open that trade 5 hours before the news and it's closed within that 10-minute window, within that 10-minute news trading window, you're not going to be penalized because that trade was open way 5 hours before the news even comes out. So that's what the 5% news rule also stands for, and you also need to be able to understand that. So to be on the safe side, what will I recommend? To be on the safe side, number one, you need to be able to know the major news events that are going to be coming out. Funding Pips, for example, would make this very, very public, will make this very, very transparent to say, okay, these are major high impact news events which you need to be able to stay clear of. So if you are someone who is a scalper, during those particular news events, stay away from the market. Respect the 10-minute window, all right? Stay away from the market, respect the 10-minute window, and then after that, you can come and continue taking your trade. But if you are a swing trader, in most cases, you don't need to even worry, because even if the news comes out sometimes, it seldom even hit your target, because as a swing trader, your targets are a little bit high. But even if you are a swing trader, the only time you need to worry if that trade was taken 5 hours before that news. If the trade was taken 5 hours before the news and it hits your target within the news window, and then you wouldn't be penalized at all, because let's say the news is at 2:30 or at 3 p.m. South African time and the trade was taken at say 9 a.m. during the London session, and I'm not going to be penalized because that's almost about 6 hours. So even if it's closed within my news trading window, I'm not going to be penalized. But if I took that trade at 12 noon and the news is at 3 p.m. and I hit my target within my news trading window, obviously I'm going to be penalized because I took that trade less than 3 hours before the news window or before the major news event was released. It's simple, man. People say, why are these rules too many? Why are they trying? Oh, these prop firms are just out there to scam us. They just want me to fee. They don't want anyone. Just shut up. The rules are not many and they are very, very easy to explain, very, very easy to understand. You can see I already mentioned consistency rule, very easy to understand. I mentioned news trading rule, very easy to understand. I mentioned the 1% or the 3% 1% or 3% risk rule, very easy to understand. So long as you've already taken your pen, you study the rules of that prop firm very well, write it down. Now you'll be able to fine-tune the risk management in your strategy to be able to accommodate these rules by the prop firm. If you are not informed, you'll be totally deformed. Now that you know, you'll be able to know that, okay, let me not risk more than 1%. Or if I'm to trade many pairs, let me not risk more than 0.5%. Or if you they are giving me a 40% consistency rule. This is how I do. Oh, this have a 1%. It's not your problem whether the prop firm is having a rule or not. Your problem is because you don't even know the rules are there and you don't know how to follow them. You don't even if you know the rules are there, you don't even want. Some of you guys, you are already trading on a master account or on a funded account, then you see them sending emails or on the Telegram community, they're asking, so what percent of my account should I risk if I'm targeting this? When should I close my trade? Also, bro, how did you even get to the funded stage? Because if I'm the owner of that profile manager, I should just terminate your account. How did you even get there without knowing those rules? So my people, my goal is for you guys to be able to, enjoy this success sometimes when it comes to trading, be able to get your payouts approved, be able to get a payout at the end of the day. So follow these rules and trust me, none of your payout will be denied by any prop firm. That one, I can say it with a guarantee. And if you want to trade with Funding Pips, which has won the award as the best prop firm for 2025, use the coupon code on your screen, GodLove at checkout, and you have a whopping 20% off. If you want me to mentor you one-on-one, as always, check out GodLove University. The link is going to be on the video description. We have a Black Friday which is running, meaning you can join GodLove University at half the price. When you click the link, the price is already going to be cut into two. If you want to also trade with Paytrex Pro, which is our Forex EA, you can also use on Funding Pips, then also or any other prop firm that allows the use of EA, also check the link on the video description. And the good thing with Paytrex Pro is that with Paytrex Pro, right on the parameter section, you can already set the consistency rule. You can already set the daily drawdown, meaning the bot is also built with prop firm trading in mind. Check the link below to also use my recommended broker. If you're someone who trades on a private broker and you want to open a private account, make sure you're using the same broker I'm using. Join my free Telegram community. The link is also on the video description. Check out this video, which was a full review I made about Funding Pips. Also check out this video, which are other videos I prepared to help you stay profitable. And also click here to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. And I'll see you guys on these other videos. Peace.